Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed.
Ghost stories appear in every culture on Earth, some dating as far back as ancient Mesopotamia, while others are as recent as within the last few years. The central figures of ghost stories can come in a variety of forms: disembodied spirits, vapor-like mist, spectral hounds, vanishing hitchhikers, headless specters riding phantom horses as black as night, undead armies, or ghoulish hunters racing through the wilds, even the ghastly forms of ships and trains perpetually replaying their fateful voyages. But one of the most widespread ghost motifs is not so monstrous or grand in spectacle, but rather beautiful in appearance, though no less cryptic and unsettling, perhaps even dangerous when encountered. The White Lady. The White Lady, also known as the Woman in White, as the name would imply, was a ghost that resembled a human woman dressed in a flowing gown or robe as white as snow, or be surrounded by a mist that gives off an otherworldly aura. As with all ghosts of legend, the White Lady's grim fate was the result of a traumatic event that occurred in her life, often her death. The manner of the death of those who would one day become the White Lady are often particularly tragic in nature. Some examples may include a severe accident, a disease or sickness, murder, suicide, and more. However, many often die as the result of a broken heart, as another major recurring theme of the White Lady is loss. They may have had a lover betray them or abuse them, had their children taken away from them, or witnessed or even caused the death of someone close to them, such as parents, husbands, fiancés, even their very children. And so the White Lady would wander about a specific home range, lamenting her own tragedies, crying out in the night with her mournful wails. Mortals who come across her may be asked for help, be guided to a secluded area, be put in danger, or even outright attacked by the ghost. To even see the White Lady's spectral form may be interpreted as a harbinger of doom, that some misfortune would befall the unfortunate soul or someone very close to them. The legend of the White Lady is widespread across the world, all with differing origin stories and behavior, yet all connected by themes of suffering and tragedy. Mexican folklore tells of La Llorona, once a beautiful woman named Maria, who married a handsome and wealthy man, but her husband abandoned her and their 2 sons for another woman. Racked with guilt, Maria drowned her 2 sons in a nearby lake, and shortly thereafter died upon the shore of the same lake. Her melancholy spirit was condemned to haunt the shores of freshwater sources, weeping for her lost children. Should anyone, particularly children, find themselves on riverbanks or lake shores after dark, they risk encountering La Llorona, who may drown them as she had done to her own children. In Brazilian legend, the White Lady is called Dama Branca, or Mulher de Branco, a cryptic being even among other ghosts, who often remains silent but ever staring into the void. Details of Dama Branca's origins are scarce, but her backstory is always tragic, including everything from death in childbirth, being murdered by her husband, to being starved to death, her only food being the stewed flesh of her lover. Slavic mythology tells of a young woman who had been abused and imprisoned by her husband in a black yurt. Feeling unloved and undesirable, the woman hanged herself. In death, she became a Zeon, one of several hundred ghosts who assume the form of women in white, who haunt fiancés on their wedding day, seducing them with their beauty before they drag them to the spirit world. Germanic folklore calls them Weisse Frauen, deeply associated with residential castles and age-old estates. As with other white ladies, the ones of German lore are quite tragic, many having been killed by jealous husbands or fathers gone crazy, sometimes for reasons such as paranoia, envy, or for not producing an heir. But many of the Weisse Frauen were dangerous to those who crossed their path, stalking them through forests, strangling them, even setting their houses ablaze. From Philippine mythology come the caparosas, white ladies who act as local boogeymen, scaring children into behaving themselves for their parents and their elders. The most prominent of these is the White Lady of Balate Drive in Quezon City, a long-haired woman in a white dress who had died in a car accident while driving along the street in question, spending her afterlife as a vanishing hitchhiker, hailing down taxis at the midnight hour and leaving drivers in a state of terror. In Ireland, the White Lady that haunts Charles Fort was a bride who took her own life on her wedding night after her father slew her new husband. She rose from her grave a vengeful spirit, ever searching for her ruthless father, her mournful cries heard during the night of her wedding anniversary. England is chock full of legends of ghostly women in white, from the Black Widow of Oakhampton Castle, who killed multiple husbands and children of hers, forever plucking grass from the castle ruins, to the Running Lady of Beeford, one of many vanishing hitchhikers found throughout the dark roads of the world, to the ghost of Portchester Castle, forever doomed to repeat her fateful plummet. Perhaps the country with the most White Lady ghost stories is the United States, with nearly every state in America possessing its own White Lady tale. In New York State, there was once a mother who had lost her daughter, and after a hysterical hunt for the lost child, she flung herself off a cliff, her loyal hunting dogs soon to follow. And now she wanders the wilds with her spectral hounds at her side. Chicago has the Italian bride, a victim of maternal death, who lurks in Mount Carmel Cemetery, walking the ground as her body refuses to decompose, and protecting wayward children she may happen to come across. Others include the Union Cemetery ghost of Easton, Connecticut, the White Lady of Wapsie of Altoona, Pennsylvania, the prom dress girl from Fremont, California, and the Lady of White Rock Lake in Dallas, Texas. Ghosts come in a variety of shapes and sizes, and while some are outlandish in both appearance and behavior, some of the most chilling and widespread may appear as beautiful women adorned in flowing white garments. Found in stories all throughout Europe, Asia, and the Americas, the White Lady ghosts may differ in specific details, but all are given a sorrowful and tragic backstory that led to their unsettling and torturous existence as an apparition, one that can be helpful, or oracular, or deadly. There is something about the image of a gorgeous woman draped in a white flowing gown that appears to glow in the dead of night, wandering about the forests and the fields, lurking in both modern cities and rural cemeteries alike, that just draws in those who have a fascination with stories of the macabre and unusual. Though she is often beautiful, more so than many other grim specters of legend and folklore, the White Lady is nevertheless a terrifying and enduring figure of horror stories.